Nigeria, no doubt, is confronted by multiple security challenges which have created a massive humanitarian crisis, leading to limiting access to livelihood sources and food production. In the last 1 year, prices of food items have skyrocketed by as much as 30% in many parts of Nigeria. From the southern states to those in the north, the experience is the same as insecurity, extortion, climate change, amongst other as reasons for the skyrocketing prices of food commodities. Nigeria's inflation has been on the rise since the closure of the borders, as the situation became worse with the emergence of COVID-19, which affected the global economy, leading to a hike in prices of food. Now the big question on the lips of many Nigerians: how long will inflation go before it begins to beat a retreat? To prefer answers to this question and many others, of course, I have joining me live from our Abuja studios. He's the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Dignity Finance and Investment. He's also the former Director General of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Chijioke Ikechukwu. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
I'm going to start this way. I was really worried when I saw this restriction thing, talking about food movement to the south. And a lot of reactions have trailed this development. Before we look at inflation rate around food and all of the other issues affecting food, insecurity and all of that, what do you make of this statement and how do you see it affecting the prices of food, all foodstuff?
Yeah, when I also saw that video where vehicles conveying food items were returned back to the north, I was worried for this country because what we're doing is just to rob the farmers that actually have worked so hard to produce all those agricultural products. We have robbed them of their profitability. We have robbed them of the revenue they're supposed to make from those agricultural products. The fact is that if these food items don't go into the south, the next thing that will happen is that there will be massive importation of agricultural products, which is not good for the economy. While the farmers from the north who have worked so hard for these agricultural products will lose income, lose revenue, and of course lose profit. So I think it is not a good decision to take because the country is one, and we expect that while some people benefit from the food, others also benefit from the revenue that is supposed to also add to the GDP of the country. So I don't think it's a good thing that really happened to us.
Now, if we look at their demands, they're talking about 4.95 billion naira here, talking about issues, the fallout of the EndSARS, and of course what happened in Oyo State. What do you make of this demand?
Yeah, that has nothing to do with food, actually. Usually we have political issues and political disagreements, but the truth is it has nothing to do with food supply because it's like taking a decision that will also hurt you and haunt you now and in the future. This is actually denying the people opportunity to have income, make income from the food they are actually used to selling for many years, and also deny the people who are also supposed to resell these products the opportunity to have income also from the things they are going to sell. So it's not good for us.
Another complaint is the issue of multiple taxation. We've been hearing about this for some time. Extortion and all of the alleged extortion actually by security agencies for the movement of foods from the north to the south. How does this come to you as a business person?
I want to, something fell off.
Okay. Dr. Ikechukwu. Okay, Dr. Ikechukwu.
I want to believe that the issue about multiple taxation you mentioned has always come on the drawing board.
True.
And the country hasn't made enough effort to solve this problem of multiple taxation. We're talking about federal taxes, we're talking about state taxes, and we're talking about local government taxes. And so it is not enough when we say multiple taxation. The federal government alone will deal with this matter. The matter should also be dealt with by the states and by the local government areas. In fact, the ones that have actually threatened business opportunities in Nigeria have been the ones coming from both states and local government areas. So indeed, they need to be streamlined, and they need to ensure that business people survive by having a streamlined number of taxes to be paid, not for us to have so many of them. So we need to streamline that, and that is just the way to get forward. So it has to be a federal government issue involving the states and involving the local government areas, and that way we will be sure that the ease of doing business that we've been talking about should actually be a concern to everybody, and we should also be seeking solution to all of that.
And we're still looking at food insecurity and all that has to do with food prices at this time. And I have MD, CEO of Dignity Finance and Investment, who's joining us from Abuja, Dr. Ikechukwu, Chijioke Ikechukwu. Dr. Ikechukwu, I was talking about governments making efforts to improve commercial farming at this time to be able to help address some of these shortfalls that we witness on both sides.
Yeah, government can really do a lot. If every state government can have a greenhouse farm, you can imagine the quantity of agricultural products that we can have in this country if every state government owns a greenhouse, even for products that they cannot grow ordinarily, and then of course grow their normal products and agricultural products. Then we are going to be having some food sufficiency in the country. This is going to be a stopgap, but of course, because we need a solution right now, we can only expect that the food flow should actually come from the north to the south for the sake of our economy and for the sake of the country. Otherwise, in the long run, every state should actually own a greenhouse farm in order to grow all kinds of goods and agricultural products for self-sufficiency of the country in agricultural areas.
Now, with inflation above 20% and all of these challenges, Dr. Ikechukwu, when do you see respite for Nigerians? Are we going to continue to pay high for food stuff at the moment as it is?
Yeah, I want to believe that the inflation rate that has risen as high as it is such that should make us get worried, because we don't even know the extent of the rise and how far it's going to go with the distortion of movement of agricultural products from the north to the south. You know, so we have to do everything to ensure that it doesn't grow higher than where it is right now. So that we can also have an inflation rate that is manageable. Right now, it is alarming and it is worrisome for the country to have an inflation rate, especially for food, that is as high as 20.57%. A state like Kogi State is having as high as 26.5%, and that is worrisome for all of us.
So, like I said, now moving back to produce coming from the north to south, from all of the challenges of storage is there. Some of these foods are perishable, and anything could happen to this. Don't you think that it could also be even a loss on the side of those preventing the goods from coming to this area? Talking about perishable food now.
Honestly, it's difficult to hear what you say because the service is a little tough.
Oh, okay. Dr. Ikechukwu, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Let's talk about storage facility issues in the agricultural space. Storage. Dr. Chijioke.
Yes.
Yeah, I said, let's talk about storage. Let's wrap up on the note. That's storage of agricultural produce. How well are we doing?
Oh, for storage, we are not even doing it. We're not doing enough at all. We have had silos in the past in certain parts of the country But, storage is that which we need to do, and every state should at least have a storage facility for some kinds of agricultural products that they have competitive advantage over others. There are some agricultural products that grow well in some parts of the country, and so they should have their storage facility to give a good storage for those kind of products, agricultural products they are good at. A place like, Jos does a lot with potatoes. They should have a good storage facility for potatoes, and others for onions should do the same thing, so that all year round there should be enough food for the entire country and for the economy to grow with. That is the way to go. If we want to be self-sufficient in food, then we need to grow our storage system, and it has to be modern, and it has to have good capacity.
Now, we've seen efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria focused on agricultural space. A lot of them. I can go on and on. What's the effect? Yes. What would you say about this?
Well, first of all, I have to give kudos to CBN on the volume in Naira terms of intervention in all areas. We also have to give kudos to the finance minister, who also in the finance bill tried to reduce certain burden on agricultural practitioners. Recall that in areas of agricultural machinery, the import duties have been reduced from 35% to about 5%. And for SMEs in the agricultural subsector that are startups, they have been given pioneer status for up to 6 years. And so these are the things federal government has done to be able to ensure that inflation rate is reduced in the agricultural subsector. But talking about the interventions of CBN, I wonder if there's any CBN, any central bank in Africa that has intervened the way our own central bank has intervened in agricultural subsector. So what we need to do is just to really support the efforts of CBN to ensure that their efforts actually will yield good results. Otherwise, we should be able to give them kudos. But we need to also sensitize our farmers more and spread the entire effort around the entire country, so that farmers will actually know the benefits that are there waiting for them to have. CBN is making a lot of provisions for all those, but CBN also needs to sensitize the organized private sector and also sensitize the farmers themselves all over the country, so that we'll have to really continue to produce excessively and take advantage of all the benefits CBN is making us to have.
All right, is a good way to leave it. I must thank you for your time. Dr. Chijioke Ikechukwu is the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Dignity Finance and Investment, also the former Director General of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much for spending your afternoon with us.